Coming up, the latest on the flash flooding threat.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We are getting a break from the rain right now, but the next round is on the way. It's a severe weather alert day as we prepare for the possibility of more flooding. WYMT's Brandon Robinson has more on what to expect. Brandon?
Well, Steve, the forecast, as you said, quiet for the moment, maybe quiet for most of the overnight hours, but the rain will be back before you know it. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. A little bit of ground clutter to our north, maybe a couple of pop-up showers in several counties, but for the most part, drying out tonight. That will be short-lived as we head deeper into the nighttime hours. For a few more minutes, there is a flood warning in effect for parts of Buchanan and Mingo counties in our area there. So again, continue to watch out for that as we see, again, possibly some high water issues lingering in those areas. Pikeville Medical Center camera overlooking beautiful downtown Pikeville. Quiet tonight as we see temperatures still in the 70s over that way this evening. 68 Wise and Clintwood, 73 over toward Hazard, 73 also London and Williamsburg, Middlesboro 270 in Harlan, 75 in Prestonsburg and Somerset, Irvin 2, and it is 74 as we mentioned in Pikeville, 74 over toward as we mentioned Jackson, 75 Owensboro, but 80 still in Paducah. So areas that are kind of on the other side of this front that stalled out over top of us continuing to stay a little bit on the warmer side. 72 overnight, scattered showers and storms especially late, and some fog could be a possibility as well. I have the latest on the forecast for the next several days coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Brandon, thank you. Folks in Floyd County have already seen some flooding today. While the rain has impacted communities throughout the Big Sandy, Floyd County may have been the hardest hit with water over roadways and in many instances threatening homes. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt encouraged folks to call for help if you feel like you're in danger and to remain aware of water levels overnight if you're in a flood-prone area.
Call 911 when you see water obviously getting close enough to where that you feel like you don't have a way out. We'll get to you as soon as we can. We got boats activated right now with the rescue squads being activated. Sheriff's deputies, KSP, everybody's looking at these rural areas that's taking on some water.
Sheriff Hunt added that it's important not to drive through high or swift water over roadways. Officials say it only takes 6 inches of swift water over a roadway to move a car off of its path. Well, along Abbott Creek Road in northern Floyd County, some areas were completely covered by water today. Some homes were flooded as well. David Stumbo has lived on this road for 3 years and says he's seen the water come up like this a couple of times. He said today some parts of the road had knee-deep water.
The bad thing about here is the creek's lower than what this is, and all the water comes. It jumps the bank up there, comes down through here, tries to get back to the creek.
The people that live in that neighborhood say they've expressed their concerns before, but nothing has ever changed. They are nervous that they could be affected by this issue again as more rain is in the forecast. Well, turning now to some video that is new at 11. The floodwaters ran high in parts of Mingo County, West Virginia earlier today, specifically in the Gilbert Creek area where neighbors spent the evening cleaning up after flooding left behind a big mess, as you can see there. This video from the front porch of Lorraine Farrell of someone driving down Route 13, as you can see, through several feet of raging water, somehow managing not to get swept away. Here's more now from Mingo County. Neighbors say a downpour began around 9 a.m. and water began coming out of Gilbert Creek's banks about an hour later, making the drive home quite the ordeal for some. Ezra Hatfield says he'd wait for water to recede over part of the road only to find more high water a little farther ahead.
I left my house this morning about 9:30 to go to Gilbert to the pharmacy and been trying to get home ever since.
With more rain in the forecast this week, locals are hoping to avoid a repeat of today's floods. The Baysden Assistant Fire Chief says they haven't gotten any reports of anyone getting hurt in the flooding there today. Well, 3 people are dead after a crash that police say was caused by a man driving the wrong way on the interstate. Deputies in Laurel County say a California man was driving north in the southbound lanes near London when he crashed into another car. Deshaun Love, Kevin Kriegler, and Ilya Dukes are all from the Chicago area, and all of them were killed. Love and Kriegler were cousins. Police say 21-year-old Joshua Poor was driving the wrong way truck, and he's being treated for serious but non-life-threatening injuries at UK Hospital.
These are one of the most catastrophic traffic crashes that you can experience because, number one, you have the interstate speeds, and number two, you have drivers that are headed in a direction and they're not expecting traffic to be coming toward them.
21-year-old Joshua Poor is from Clovis, California. Right now, it's not clear why he was in this area or what led up to the crash. Police say charges are pending against him, but we don't know what those charges will be. John Stacy, the man charged with murder and assault for a series of incidents in Pulaski County, is expected to be in court tomorrow. Police say Stacy assaulted a woman and held her against her will before shooting and killing someone on Paradise Lake Drive. He's charged with murder, attempted murder, burglary, assault, and kidnapping. He's expected in court at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Pikeville Police Department organized a drug roundup Tuesday focused on more than 20 suspected drug dealers around the area. 4 teams of officers and EMTs gathered at the Appalachian Wireless Arena, where the command center was set up for an operation all about cleaning up the streets. Following up on 28 sealed indictments, officers say they were tackling the drug crisis head-on, continuing a mission while honoring the work of people like fallen officer Scotty Hamilton, who was killed on a drug-related call in 2018.
That incident was all involving drug activity, drug trafficking, and it was just an unnecessary event that happened because of drugs. That made us want to do a better job at enforcing our drug laws around here.
The officers say missions like this are more tense after the Allen shootings a few weeks ago, but they keep moving forward in honor of the call those officers were answering in their final days. There is a fundraiser happening tomorrow for a Floyd County deputy injured in that ambush on June 30th. The benefit lunch is planned from 10:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. in front of the old courthouse in Floyd County for injured Deputy Darren Lawson. He's been recovering in the hospital since that night. 3 officers and a K-9 died in that ambush. For every 1,000 births in the Appalachian region, 77 babies are born exposed to drugs. Now Baptist Health Richmond has developed a plan for pregnant mothers seeking recovery. The HOPE program offers several support services for expecting mothers through birth and postpartum. Case managers help navigate mothers through the stages of the program.
The fact that we have a team approach and we really try to create a non-judgmental, supportive environment, you know, they really feel supported along their pregnancy and recovery journey, so they, you know, stay with us for the duration.
Since starting in April, 2 women have graduated from the program, with currently 6 active participants enrolled. Shriners Hospital for Children is hoping the help of donations will let them continue their health care services in Lexington for decades to come. Hillbilly Christmas in July raises money through community engagement and an annual bike ride here in eastern Kentucky, and it's all for the children at Shriners Hospital. Hillbilly Christmas in July donated $65,000, and with the help from Gearhart Communications, they added another $10,000. People from the organization say it's a no-brainer when it comes to helping children in need.
When you come down to this hospital, I made a few trips before we got Hillbilly Christmas in July started, and when you see the kids, nobody has to tell you what you need to do. You just jump in and do it.
The goal is to raise a total of $1 million within the next 3 years for the organization's 20th anniversary, and officials of the hospital say 70% of the funds hospitals use are from philanthropies and donations, so something like this goes a long way. The West Virginia legislature is pushing forward with a potential abortion ban. A bill making its way through the House of Delegates offers very few exceptions, including for a non-viable fetus, ectopic pregnancy, or a medical emergency. While delegates say they may have some conversations regarding exceptions for things like rape and incest, those exceptions are not in the bill as it currently stands in the House.
I'm wholeheartedly pro-life. I appreciate the House version that with the exceptions that we've discussed.
Well, we're working on a lot of amendments should this bill come to us in the form that it is now.
Woodrum adds he would prefer to see a bill in the Senate similar to the current one without exceptions for rape and incest. Baldwin and other Democrats seem to believe their only option as legislators at this point is to amend the bill in the direction they see fit as much as possible. State Representative Chris Fugit and State Senator Brandon Smith met with the Hazard Perry County Chamber of Commerce today. They talked about coal jobs in our region, saying we are seeing a demand in coal recently with millions of dollars going into the Coal Severance Fund, and they are looking to expand the runway at Wendell Ford Airport in Perry County.
The steps that we have to go to allocate the funding, and then you have to do the buying of the right-of-way and the design, it's really kind of complicated, but this has moved along pretty quickly.
Along with airport improvements, leaders want to see more ATV trails in our region. They say it can bring in millions of dollars every year.